Disability rights organization is suing Louisiana, trying to block new voting laws they say violate the Federal Voting Rights Act.
They say Louisiana Act 380 and Act 317 harm people with disabilities who vote absentee and do not have immediate family members available to help them mail their absentee ballots. News 2's David Hamilton talked to an attorney who represents the plaintiffs and to the sponsor for one of those bills.
Sylvia, Micah, I talked to both sides, and Disability Rights Louisiana, the organization that filed the lawsuit, says both laws are not only violating the Voting Rights Act, but also suppressing the vote of people with disabilities. The laws passed in the most recent legislative session and were signed by the governor. They place limits on how people can assist voters with disabilities in preparing absentee ballots or in election day voting. Both acts go into effect next month, several months before our next presidential election. Disability Rights Louisiana wants to block them because they say the laws impede voters with disabilities from exercising their voting rights.
Nursing homes and group homes will send out memos to their employees saying it is a crime if you help more than one person just deliver their ballot to the post office, put it in the mailbox. It's very clear what will happen if these laws are left unchallenged.
Senator Caleb Klein-Peters sponsored Act 317 and says the act will work to help protect elderly voters and disabled voters when passing on their ballots.
The vulnerable voters, the elderly, are sometimes preyed upon and said, if you're not going to vote this way, then, we're not going to help you out or we're going to do this to you. And we don't want that. So this kind of puts some teeth in the game to where those people that are out there and preying on the most vulnerable, that they'll have repercussions and penalties from it.
Attorney Andrew Beiser, who represents Disability Rights Louisiana, says he doesn't believe voter fraud in Louisiana is as frequent as the Act makes it seem.
The stated goal of these laws are not to disenfranchise people with disabilities. The stated goal is to, prevent voter fraud. But we know that there is barely any voter fraud at all, any instances of voter fraud in Louisiana. That this voter fraud is something that occurs when it really isn't. And people with disabilities are unfortunately the victims of this type of crusade.
The lawsuit was filed earlier today. Both acts go into effect on August 1st. David Hamilton, WBRZ, News 2.